Welcome back, everyone. New School Sensei. I'm your host, Lance Douglas. We got Ken Douglas as well in the house. He's got his hat on, so that means he's ready to talk deep, get into all the top topics. He's got the hands up too. We're going to be running through martial art business conferences. I recently went to a martial art business conference, and this is, for me personally, sometimes I find them a bit cheesy, a little bit just disingenuous. But I got to say, this martial art business conference I went to, so I went to the EFC, I got a lot out of it and I got a lot of good insights. So I almost forgot how valuable these business conferences are, because when you don't go to them for a while, you kind of forget like what the real value of a martial art business conference is. And if anything, it could be more valuable today. So that's a big take there, Ken, because obviously we've been riffing on AI, and technically you can get all the martial art business conference information from AI. But my take is I actually think nowadays the conference is more important. And I'll give you a couple of reasons. So martial art business conference, especially if it's interstate, costs money. Yeah. So you got to pay for the flight, pay for the accom. I had to take a couple of days off physio work, so I lost income there. Took time away from my my wife and my kid. So I'm not painting a good picture so far, yeah, Ken. But but because you have to sacrifice so much, it makes the knowledge that they present at the conference so much more valuable, meaningful, and memorable. Like those top tips, they're definitely stored in here. Whereas if I just go on a AI, ChatGPT, I can get an answer and I can forget it in 5 minutes. So the real value in the business conference is that it's such a good way to really retain information. And then another thing the business conference does is it gives you a lot of good motivation. And I know, Ken, that's probably one of your main takeaways from conferences is the motivation you get afterwards.
Yeah. Um, there's probably three things that I really like about these sort of business conferences. And it's something that I wish that we did from the very start. Okay. Because obviously the knowledge of how to run a business, how to run a martial arts business, it's very different. Like a regular business, you run a fish and chip shop, a hairdresser, running a martial art business, completely
You don't
different
reckon they
ballgame.
got business conferences for fish and chip shops and hairdressers?
I'm not sure, to be honest. They might, to be honest. Yeah. But for me, so I've got three things that I really like about these things. So you actually get to see people who have done the thing that you want to do. So you get to see people that are running multiple locations. They're successful. Like they're actually living a really good life. They're not teaching every single class. So the motivation and inspiration you get from that is gold. So, and also the second thing is you get to see the trends in the industry. Because if you're just teaching, you just mind your own business, you got your own students, all that, you can sort of get lost in it a little bit. But going to the conferences, you get to see what's happening, what's the future. I remember in 2020, I went to the Empower Summit in the Gold Coast, early 2020. We were fortunate enough to be invited onto this special round table that was like in the morning. And we were talking about COVID and our plans. I still remember the Weymouth boys, Western Australian Institute of Martial Art, Australia. So Phil Britton, Graham McDonald, they were already talking about their plans on how they're going to combat COVID. They had phase 1, phase 2, phase 3. And then hearing about all those different things, that really gave us the jump on what was to come. Yeah. So we were a little bit more prepared for COVID, especially for us in Victoria. We had 2 years of lockdowns. So knowing the trends, and then also with marketing, what's the trends of marketing? I can't remember exactly when I went to Newcastle, but there was a conference with Rod Darling, who back in the day was the Facebook marketing expert. There was probably a room of about 30 to 40 of us. And that's when the paid trial was born, I guess, the Facebook paid trial. And they were the glory years of Facebook marketing. But if we didn't go to that conference, it might have taken us a few years to get into it. And then, ads getting more and more expensive, all that sort of stuff. That yellow triangle you see, that was born in that conference. Like you see the ads, it's like attention, Werribee parents. Like give your kid the gift of confidence with our awesome karate classes. Trial offer this, limited spots, big yellow triangle with your trial offer. So that's another thing, being up to date for the latest trends. Third thing is I use the conferences to actually do work. So while the speakers are talking, I am listening, but then I'm thinking about how can I implement what they're saying into Twins. So I'm actually writing down ideas. So I'm actually writing down, we have these programs. How can we implement it? And then something I do is obviously you've got pages and pages. I'll highlight the top 10 and then I'll write them down and then I'll look at it and I'll probably choose. Usually I do talk to Lance on the phone because I'm usually the guy that goes to the conference. I talk to him a bit and then we usually try and implement 3 of those things. So for me, Lance, like conferences are gold. Like this is how you can really go to the next level in your martial arts business. And then Lance, if you want to talk about what were the key takeaways that you got out of the last conference that you just did, it was at the Central Coast, I believe, and it was a month ago. I think it used to be called EFC, but now I think it's called Empower, isn't it? Was it an
No,
Empower
I think it's
Summit?
called EFC.
They still
Oh, I
call it
can't
EFC?
remember. I
Yeah.
think it's
Do you
called
want to go through
EFC.
your top sort of takeaways and maybe a little bit of the trends? Because obviously I'm always keen on those trends.
Yeah.
The new meta in the martial arts business landscape.
You want the new meta? Okay, I'll put a note to tell you the new meta. My takeaways are probably more abstract, and it's good at these conferences because you get to see the top performers, the top business owners in the country, and we actually got to see some from the top business owners in the world. Like we had Hakan Manav. His school, he's got the most students in one school in the world, like over 1,000. And then we also we got a good chance to there was a couple of presentations by this German fella. I forgot his name. First name Sasha, last name starts with a V. I'll have to find it later. And he was doing his first seminar through a translator, German translator. And he has something crazy like over 3,000 students. He's got the biggest association in Germany. So looking at these high performers, like these guys are like the Michael Jordans of our industry. And the thing is, the difference between, if you look at them fundamentally as people, the difference between them and someone who's average is actually not that much. I didn't think there was much different. Like you go, after their presentation, you see them eating food, they're chatting. Hakan thought I was you, Ken. So, he said hello. How you going, mate? Like these top performers, they're not much different to your average Joe. They're friendly, they're personable. But the thing that does separate them, there is something that separates them. It's that drive to, not just want to be, at one level, that drive to keep on going higher and higher and higher. And I feel like the drive comes from their own purpose. Because this German fella, he built his school. He was a single dad, and I think he had 3 kids. Single dad, 3 kids, and building up a martial arts school. Can you imagine that, Ken? So that's wild.
That's wild. That's crazy. Has he
No,
still got 3 kids?
yeah, he's still got 3 kids. Yeah. But I imagine his why would be like, why would you push to 1,000 students? Why would you push to 6,000 students? He's probably thinking legacy. Like he wants to build up so much of a buffer that his kids never have to struggle like he did. And yes, that was probably the key takeaway. Like the Michael Jordans of our industry, they're similar to us. They're similar to everyone else, but I guess they do have that drive, that purpose that kind of propels them, through the next level. And then the other big takeaway, the top guys in the industry, they're all super supportive of everyone coming up, and they all share. They share all their data, their details. They give you the secret sauce. Like, essentially, no question is off the table. And maybe I'm right, maybe I'm wrong, but being open and being able to share, maybe that somehow contributes to being successful in martial arts. What do you reckon, Ken?
That's a very good question. I think if you are confident enough to share what you got, it means you've actually probably got something that's worthwhile to share. If you're struggling, you might not want to share that, I'd say. Yeah. It's probably their mindset because they
Yeah.
know that if they share the knowledge, then other people share their knowledge with them as well. It's sort of like that rising tide lifts all ships, I'd say, Lance.
Yeah. And I think they realize that there's no secrets to being successful. And if there is a little gimmick, like maybe, the marketing back in the day, yeah, Ken, we had that, that little gimmick. It doesn't last forever. So that's why they know they share their details, because really you can know something, but then the key is putting it into action.
Yeah,
Like
100%.
actually, like you get 10 tips, but if you don't action any of them, I guess that's completely meaningless.
Definitely.
Anyway, let's go, Ken. You want the actual meat and potatoes, yeah? The actual meta.
I've been waiting 1 month, bro. I've been trying to get this guy on the phone. The only way I can get it off him is do a potty.
Essentially, the big message was to embrace AI if with all of the admin tasks. So just automate all your emails, all your responses, just building systems, you can automate it. Yeah, I was a bit worried, to be honest, because if you automate all your responses with your students, it can seem a little bit generic. Like, it can seem a little bit kind of plastic. Like, it's kind of a bit fake. Like, you know how if you look at, just to generalize, I don't know, I was last night I was watching have you heard of this show, Ken? Singles Inferno.
I don't watch that, bro. I don't watch that sort of stuff.
Bit of reality TV. Anyway, it's a Korean reality TV show. Me and Soph are on to the third season, and each season, because we were just binging it, so we're going season 1, season 2, season 3, and it seems like the contestants are getting literally shinier and shinier, more plastic, and it kind of looks like the faces look more glossy. Like, I reckon if I got a screenshot of the contestants from season 1, season 2, season 3, it literally looks like a vase or a porcelain doll. Like, and my instant reaction is it's just fake. And my worry is with AI automating all your communication with your students, they're going to realize, it's not really the coach. So, but that's where it's all headed. So, a lot of martial art business owners will be starting to use AI to automate their communications. Everyone's finding it a lot trickier to advertise effectively. So they're going to be incorporating a lot more psychology with the marketing. There was a lot of seminars on psychology, and for me, it's a bit manipulative. But I do see, I guess that's the way our society is. So examples would be, Ken, say if we got an ad, we got some words, and you got a picture. If you have, say, the picture of a student, if you get the student looking at the words, that gets like a higher click rate, something like that. Or it could be maybe in an email header, if you put the kid's name in it, that will get a higher click rate. Or if he had a screen where he had like a 2 pages, like say if it's an old school newspaper or magazine, like people are looking at a certain part of the magazine. So he'll put his ad there. So a lot of these like psychological tactics were by the German presenter. So I guess, yeah, to compete and to market effectively, because now a lot of people are marketing, to have those little edges, and being more precise with how you're displaying your information, that's what everyone's working towards. Yeah. What are your thoughts on that, Ken?
Um, it's nothing really new, I guess. We've heard in other conferences, but you're right. It's those one percenters. It's like, are you really willing to do the work? If you want to grow to one of these mega schools, it takes work. There's no like secret pill that you can swallow, and you got humongous schools. It's the one percenters. Takes effort. I'll be wondering, did they talk about virtual assistants at all? Is it all AI,
Nah,
VAs?
AI. Nah, they didn't. It's interesting though, because I just moved on to for because I got a couple of rental properties, and my property manager, so he has VAs, and in the Zoom with the property manager, he actually had the VA, and the VA was, I could actually see the VA. So
Oh, wow,
normally in
cool.
like Zooms you would see like a virtual note taker. Instead, he literally had the VA in the Zoom, so I could see that the VA was a human. So there are
Makes sense.
businesses that are kind of going the opposite way. They're trying to make it look more human.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, and then in terms of anything like any trends with the coaching, because I know we've talked about how the trends that we've observed is that the UFC has been gaining lots of momentum, and you've probably seen the huge deal they've done, the $7.7 billion deal with CBS and Paramount. That means that we only have to pay like $7 a month to watch UFCs now. So
Really? Is that I didn't know that.
yeah, yeah. So instead of like going to the pub or paying 50, 60, $70 on KO, $7 a month, everything.
Really?
So we've seen it like jujitsu being really popular, and all the traditional martial arts schools are implementing that. At the last conference that I went to last year, they had a Brazilian Jiu Jitsu. They actually had two Brazilian Jiu Jitsu classes to actually teach some of the instructors. So I wonder if you've seen that, if Jiu Jitsu and mixed martial arts in general, was that any sort of focus? Like, is that trend? Because I think that trend's going to snowball and get even bigger now.
Yeah, not really, to be honest. A lot of the seminars are based on kid classes.
Okay, yep.
And I think it's because a lot of business owners brought their coaches down on to the seminars. So they probably want to cater more to that type of market. But the things with kids classes is just reinforcing the basics. The basics are going to be even more important in the future. So, being engaging, like engaging the student, it's it's going to be harder as kids are just used to just getting entertainment. Like as you just said, UFC, if we can now watch UFC for $7 a month, like multiple times a month, like everything is just getting a lot easier and convenient. So making the classes engaging like a video game or like a TV show, that's gonna be important for kiddies. And then there was a little bit going on about just how you convey your message and how do you not only present your information but also act it out. The example would be, so Hakan, he's a master. He had his another coach as well. Let's say, like, I can explain a game two ways. So the game might be, we've got a little tail and you got to try and steal it off your partner. We've all martial arts know that game. So I could explain the game one. I could say, okay, your goal is to grab the tail off your partner. If you can grab it, you both do 2 push-ups and then start the game again. Or you can create it, you can explain it as if it's a story. We could say something like, you guys are both in the jungle and you just magically become possums. Look at the tail. Whoa. Now, I've got bad news. One of you are really selfish and you want to take your partner's tail. Uh-oh. That's gonna not good. So, are you gonna let the mean possum take your tail? Kids will go, no. And now, if the possum takes your tail, you got to pay it back. And the payment today is 2 push-ups. Boom. And then we'd start the game. And then maybe later on in the game, I would say something like, bad news, guys. Inflation's hit. It's hit our possum world. 2 push-ups doesn't pay for a tail. So now it's going to cost us 4 push-ups. Okay, don't let them take your tail. So just making it fun, making it engaging, making it relatable. That's gonna those basics that we all know as kids coaches. It's still important.
To put on a show, man. That's it.
100%.
You got to be showman.
Do you remember when Adam Myers, Story Martial Arts, he used to coach for us, and he was the only coach, and I kid you not, all the listeners, he would get standing ovations. That's how much of a show this guy would put on. I remember he stacked
Yeah.
up the bags. He literally, I think he stacked, was it 8 bags?
8 bags.
8 bags?
8 kick
And
shields.
I was worried. I was like, oh man, I hope he doesn't hurt himself. Is our work cover up to date? Like, this could go either way, either stunningly good, or this guy could break his leg or break his neck falling. And yeah, so we clapped him in, slow clap, boom, 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 bah! And the big roar, like we had kids like stand up and full celebration. Obviously, not every coach has it in him to put on a show, but if you're coaching kids, you want to put something on. So shout out Adam Myers. He's doing well too, so good on you, mate.
Oos.
Boom. I had one more point. We're getting
Let's
a bit
do
more
it.
professional, guys. I'm writing notes as Kenny's talking.
Let's do it.
So going back to the business conference and, why is it still important? The other thing I found, when you're at the business conference, you separate yourself from all the distractions you normally have in life. And I'm not saying, having a wife, kids, job, social life is a distraction, but if you want to grow your business, it can be. So when you physically, go interstate for a business conference, or even just going down the road, driving, 45 minutes, put your phone away. Don't worry about any admin. Don't do anything like, don't put any spot fires. Just focus on growing your business. There's something to be said when your mind is clear and then you're able to just sit in front of a presenter who's probably, one of the world experts, and then just absorb what they're giving you.
I like it, Lance. I think we smashed it.
Boom. Let's wrap it up there, guys. Hopefully you all enjoyed that. That was a fun chat. Always love talking to Ken, getting into the weeds. And we'll see everyone on the next podcast. Oos.